In the beginning, before creation, only God existed. Nothing in the universe had yet been formed. The earth was formless and covered by the deep. The Spirit of God moved over the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." Light filled the universe for the first time. God separated the light from the darkness.
The first evening came.
The first morning followed. God formed the vast expanse of the heavens.
The heavens stretched across the earth.
The waters above were separated from the waters below. The sky stood complete above the earth. The second evening arrived. The second morning began. God gathered the waters into one place. Dry land appeared. God called the dry land earth. The gathered waters became the seas. God covered the earth with living plants. Flowers and grasses filled the land. Great trees rooted themselves across the earth. Fruit-bearing trees appeared. Every plant carried seed after its kind. The third evening came. The third morning revealed a living earth. God filled the earth with living creatures. Great beasts roamed the land. Powerful creatures spread across the earth. Life moved freely across the land.
Gentle creatures filled the forests.
Every animal lived according to its kind. The earth overflowed with living creatures. Even the smallest creatures had their place. Every living thing served its purpose. The whole earth became full of life. Then God prepared to create mankind. God formed man from the dust of the earth. The first man was perfectly formed.
God breathed life into him.
The first man became a living being.
He opened his eyes to God's perfect creation.
God placed the man in a beautiful garden. Eden was unlike any place on earth. Perfect peace existed between man and creation. Everything he needed had been provided.
The first man lived in perfect fellowship with God.
Creation was complete, and it was very good. God planted a garden in Eden for the man. Every corner of Eden overflowed with beauty. A great river flowed from Eden to water the earth.
The garden stood at the center of a perfect world. At the center stood the tree of life.
Another tree held the knowledge of good and evil. God gave the man a single command.
Adam cared for the garden entrusted to him.
The garden became his home. Creation lived together in perfect harmony. There was no fear among God's creatures. Every living thing flourished. God brought every creature before the man. Adam named each living creature.
Each creature received its name.
Every kind passed before him. Yet no suitable companion was found for the man.
God saw that the man should not remain alone.
God caused a deep sleep to come upon Adam. The Creator began a wonderful work.
From the man, God prepared a companion.
God formed the first woman. Life filled the first woman.
God presented the woman to the man.
The first family began in perfect harmony. Together they lived in the perfect garden God had made.
Adam and Eve lived together in perfect peace.
Every need was freely provided. The garden overflowed with beauty.
Life flowed through every corner of Eden.
The earth produced food in abundance. Even the greatest animals lived without fear.
There was no violence in God's creation.
Beauty surrounded them every day.
All living things existed in perfect balance. They faithfully cared for the garden. The tree of life stood at the heart of Eden. One tree remained forbidden.
They honored the command God had given.
Eden reflected the Creator's perfect design. Every part of creation displayed God's glory. Each day ended in perfect peace. The nights were calm and beautiful. Every morning began with new wonder. The whole earth reflected God's goodness. But another presence entered the garden. The serpent waited with hidden purpose. The garden remained peaceful for now. The tempter moved with quiet patience. Soon, the greatest test in human history would begin. And the tempter patiently watched for the right moment. Its attention remained fixed on the forbidden tree.
Life in Eden continued in perfect harmony.
Eve delighted in the beauty God had made. Adam faithfully cared for the garden.
The serpent drew closer without being noticed.
Two remarkable trees stood within the garden. Her path led near the forbidden tree. The hidden watcher remained unseen.
The tree appeared beautiful like the rest.
The tempter revealed its presence. Eve became aware of the serpent. A quiet moment would soon change history.
The forbidden fruit appeared pleasing to the eye.
One command
protected an otherwise perfect world.
Adam remained some distance away. Curiosity slowly replaced caution. The fruit hung within reach. She moved closer to the forbidden tree. God had provided everything they needed. The moment of decision had arrived. A single choice stood before humanity. The forbidden fruit waited. The destiny of mankind was about to change forever. One quiet moment would shape every generation. The forbidden fruit appeared perfect to the eye. Curiosity quietly drew her closer. Adam continued his work, unaware of the moment unfolding. The tempter remained patient. The fruit seemed almost within reach. She hesitated before making her choice. Abundance surrounded the one forbidden tree. The garden remained peaceful, but history stood at a crossroads. Her hand reached the branch. The fruit appeared irresistible. The final decision drew near. Adam remained unaware. The forbidden fruit was touched. The fruit was taken. She held what God had forbidden. A single choice now remained. The weight of the moment settled upon her. The moment could no longer be undone.
She ate the forbidden fruit.
Everything seemed the same, yet everything had changed.
She carried the fruit to Adam.
The two met once again.
Adam faced the same choice.
The decision now belonged to Adam. Humanity stood at the edge of a new beginning. Adam now faced the same command from God. His choice would affect all mankind. The beauty of Eden remained untouched.
The final decision was made.
Adam also ate the forbidden fruit.
Sin entered the human story.
The perfection of creation was broken.
Their eyes were opened.
Innocence was gone. They realized they were naked. They searched for a covering.
They made coverings for themselves.
They tried to hide their shame.
Fear entered the human heart.
Then they heard the Lord approaching.
The Creator walked through the garden.
They were overcome with fear.
They hid among the trees.
They hid among the trees.
They tried to hide from God.
No hiding place could conceal them.
The garden knew where they were. The Lord came near.
Guilt weighed heavily upon them. Their own efforts could not remove their guilt. The first chapter of humanity's fall had begun. The Creator searched for the ones He loved.
Creation remained beautiful, despite humanity's fall.
Fear had replaced the peace they once knew. The Lord came near to the hiding place. The hiding could not continue. Shame now burdened the first man. The first woman shared the weight of disobedience. Paradise still reflected God's perfect work. The deceiver remained within the garden. The choices of one day would echo forever. Together they faced the consequences. The day of innocence had ended. Human efforts could never fully cover sin. The tree of life still stood within Eden. The river continued flowing through creation. They could no longer return to who they had been. Creation waited as history turned. The deceiver vanished into the shadows. Night settled over the garden. The cost of disobedience had become real. Regret filled the human heart. God's creation remained wonderfully beautiful. The consequences of sin were only beginning. A new day began, but nothing was the same. The beauty of Eden remained untouched. Creation continued as God had designed it. Regret weighed heavily upon Adam.
Even beauty could not remove their sorrow.
The tree of life still stood within the garden. The forbidden tree remained as a witness. They carried the weight of their choice. Paradise remained the most beautiful place on earth. Peace filled the garden, but not their hearts. Adam remembered the day everything changed. Eve reflected on the choice she had made.
God's creation still reflected perfect wisdom.
And the heavens watched over creation. Their journey through Eden was nearing its end. Soon they would leave this place forever. Beyond Eden lay a different world. He looked upon paradise one final time. Together they faced an uncertain future. The first home of humanity remained behind them. A new chapter in human history was about to begin. Their path would now lead beyond Eden. The story of Genesis was only beginning. The time had come to leave the garden.
They looked back upon their first home.
Paradise would soon be beyond their reach. Every memory of Eden would remain with them. Creation continued in perfect harmony. The tree of life remained within God's garden. God prepared to guard the garden. Heavenly guardians were appointed. Cherubims were placed to guard the garden.
No one would enter Eden again. A flaming sword guarded the way.
The path to the tree of life was closed.
They understood they could not return. Their journey into the world began. Beyond Eden awaited a different life.
Humanity stepped into a changed world. The first steps beyond paradise were taken.
Eden faded into the distance.
Together, they faced the future.
A new chapter for mankind had begun.
Outside Eden, the story of humanity continued. Humanity's journey outside Eden had begun. Everything before them was new. The earth remained beautiful beyond the garden. God still provided for their needs. Together, they began building a new life. Their first shelter began to rise. With patient hands, they built their home. Their first home stood outside Eden.
They learned to work the land.
The first garden beyond Eden was planted.
The earth received its first harvest. Life slowly took root in the wilderness. Hope remained, even after the fall.
God's heavens still watched over them.
Life continued to grow. The earth remained full of living creatures. The land continued to provide. Together they faced each new day. Human history was just beginning.
Soon, the first family would begin. Time passed, and their family began to grow.
God blessed them with the promise of children.
Adam prepared a home for the days ahead. Seasons marked the passing of time. They prepared to welcome new life.
Soon, the first child was born.
Their first son was named Cain. A new generation had begun. Cain grew strong under his parents' care. His father taught him about the land.
His mother cared for him with love.
Their home continued to flourish. Another child was soon to come. Their second son was born. They named him Abel. The first family continued to grow.
Both boys grew with each passing year.
Cain became a worker of the ground. Abel became a keeper of sheep.
The brothers grew together.
A new chapter in Genesis was about to unfold. Cain devoted his life to working the soil. He labored faithfully in the fields. Abel cared for his flock with gentleness. His flock continued to increase. Each brother followed a different calling. Their father watched them grow into men. Their mother rejoiced in her family. The years passed with many blessings.
Harvest time finally arrived.
Abel chose the finest of his flock. Cain gathered produce from the land. The time came to bring offerings to God. Cain brought an offering from the harvest. Abel brought the firstborn of his flock. Both brothers presented their offerings. Each offering reflected the heart of its giver. God looked with favor upon Abel's offering. Cain saw that his offering was not accepted. Disappointment filled Cain's heart. Abel remained humble before God. Jealousy quietly took root.
No one yet saw the struggle within him. His heart became troubled. Abel continued faithfully in his work. Soon, jealousy would lead to humanity's first tragedy. Jealousy continued to grow within Cain. His work no longer brought him peace. Abel continued serving with a faithful heart. He cared faithfully for every animal. Cain could not escape his bitterness. Anger quietly replaced disappointment. Their parents noticed nothing unusual. Silence hid the struggle within Cain. Bitterness continued to grow. God saw every hidden thought. A new day began with an unsettled heart. Abel lived each day with quiet faithfulness. Cain's thoughts grew increasingly dangerous. Abel faithfully protected his flock. His heart searched for another path. Peace surrounded Abel wherever he went. Two brothers walked very different paths. One day, Cain came to his brother. Together they walked into the countryside. They entered a quiet place alone. No one else was nearby. A terrible decision was about to be made. Humanity stood on the edge of its first great tragedy. Cain rose against his brother Abel. The first murder had taken place. Abel's work came to an end. Sin had claimed its first human life. The peaceful valley now carried the weight of tragedy. Guilt immediately followed his actions. No one on earth had witnessed what happened. His parents remained unaware. The flock waited for its shepherd. No river could wash away his guilt. The burden of sin grew heavier.
Only silent witnesses remained. Fear began replacing anger. Creation still reflected God's glory. Nothing could remain hidden from God. His conscience would not let him rest. The Creator knew exactly what had happened. He no longer knew where to go. Life continued, but everything had changed. The family began to wait. The sheep remained without their shepherd. Cain returned, carrying an unseen burden. The longest journey was the walk home. The consequences of sin were only beginning. Cain returned, but Abel did not. Only one brother came home. His silence revealed a troubled heart. Questions began to fill the quiet morning. Abel's flock returned without him. The missing shepherd could not be ignored. They searched for their younger son. Only silent signs remained. A father's heart began to understand. Nothing was hidden from the Lord. Guilt continued to consume Cain. The weight of sin became unbearable. Creation remained beautiful despite human sorrow. Time continued to move forward. Grief entered the first family. The truth could not remain hidden forever. Abel's work had quietly ended. The first family mourned a great loss. Sin had divided the family. Genesis would now reveal God's justice and mercy. No secret can remain hidden from God. A new day revealed an old sorrow. Guilt followed Cain wherever he went. His conscience would not let him rest. Life continued despite deep loss. Abel's memory remained in the valley. The Creator sees every heart. He could no longer escape the truth. Then the Lord called Cain to account. Cain could not hide from God. Every action carries its consequence. His heart was filled with regret. Creation continued under God's care. The family remembered Abel with love. God remained faithful, even in sorrow. Cain would leave his home behind. He journeyed into an uncertain future. His journey had only begun. From Cain's descendants, a new chapter of Genesis would unfold.
Cain traveled farther from the home of his childhood.
His journey led into unfamiliar lands. The earth was vast and waiting to be explored. God's creation continued to provide. Life flourished across the earth. Each night, he reflected on the path behind him. The heavens declared the glory of God. At last, Cain found a place to settle. He chose to begin again. He prepared the land for a new beginning. His new home slowly took shape. A settlement began to grow. The land rewarded faithful labor.
The settlement continued to expand.
People gathered to build a community. The first settlements began to appear. A city began to rise from the wilderness. Human civilization continued to develop.
Humanity continued to multiply across the earth.
The generations of Cain would shape the next chapter of Genesis.
Cain's settlement continued to grow with each passing year. Generations gradually transformed the land.
Time slowly changed the first generation. New generations filled the earth. Humanity continued to multiply. People developed new skills. Communities learned to build with strength. Creativity flourished across the land. New discoveries improved daily life. The earth continued providing its abundance. Settlements spread across the land. Communities learned to work together. The land rewarded faithful labor. God's creation remained full of wonder. Each day ended beneath the Creator's heavens.
The generations continued after Cain.
Life passed from one generation to the next.
The earth gradually became filled with people. Meanwhile, another family line was growing. Now the story turns to Seth, the promised new beginning. God gave Adam and Eve another son. They named him Seth. Seth brought hope to the first family.
The years passed, and Seth grew strong.
Adam taught Seth to care for the earth.
Eve taught him wisdom and kindness.
Seth faithfully served his family. He admired the works of the Creator. Seth sought to honor God. Seth's family grew across the land. Many generations followed Seth. Seth's son was named Enosh. The family continued to multiply. People began calling upon the name of the Lord. Faith continued through Seth's descendants. Families passed faith from one generation to another. The earth continued to flourish. The population of the earth increased. Many generations came and went. Soon, one man would walk so closely with God that history would never forget his name. Many generations passed across the growing world. Seth's descendants continued to prosper. The years passed from one generation to the next. Knowledge was passed through every generation. The earth continued to provide abundance. Civilization continued to grow. The flocks multiplied across the land. Life followed the rhythm of the seasons. The heavens proclaimed God's glory. Each generation brought new hope. Families continued to grow together. People spread across the earth. Long lives shaped many generations. The earth rested beneath the stars. The world continued to change. Many continued to seek the Lord. Yet many hearts slowly turned away from God. The population of the earth greatly increased. Among the generations, one man stood apart. His name was Enoch, and he would walk with God unlike any man before him. Enoch lived differently from the people around him. His heart remained fixed on God. He faithfully led his household. He taught through both wisdom and example. Creation reminded him of its creator. He cared for others with humility. His family honored the Lord together. The heavens declared God's majesty. He often sought quiet places to reflect. Every part of creation revealed God's power. The years strengthened his faith. Many people slowly drifted away from God. Enoch chose a different path. His life reflected quiet obedience. Humanity continued multiplying across the earth. His legacy reached many generations. His journey with God continued every day. His relationship with God remained unbroken. Then the time appointed by God drew near. Soon, Enoch's extraordinary walk with God would reach a miraculous conclusion. Enoch continued walking faithfully with God. His faith remained constant through every season.
Generations came and went around him.
His family flourished under faithful leadership. The earth continued to multiply with people. Every day reminded him of the Creator. His heart remained lifted toward heaven.
God's presence surrounded his faithful servant.
He looked upon the beauty of God's creation. His trust in God never wavered. The time appointed by God had arrived. Enoch was ready for what God had prepared. His walk with God reached its fulfillment. Enoch was no more, because God took him. His faithful life became a testimony for generations. His legacy lived on through his descendants. The generations continued after Enoch. Not every generation chose the path of righteousness. Among Enoch's descendants, another faithful man was growing. Soon, the world would meet Noah, a man who found favor in the eyes of the Lord.